Wow, colleges want me now.
The ice cream a day was the big thing that got me down to 197.
Hey, you know what they say?
What did I say?
Fight today keeps the doctor away.
Oh yeah,
What made you stick with lacrosse and not change to Division One or full ride or any?
I want to be with the best, and
Who do you think could be the most influential coach in your wrestling career so far? Some sort of All American.
100%. And that's my cat, Sushi. What's up, and welcome to the Coach's Corner. We're powered by Clash Combat, and I'm Ben.
And I'm Kasey.
Before we dive into what the Coach's Corner is going to be all about, I want to talk a little bit about ourselves. So, Casey, you want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm a freshman here at the University of Wisconsin lacrosse. I'm on the wrestling team here, and I've wrestled my whole life. I really enjoy the sport, and I don't know what else to say. It's about my life in a nutshell.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about you?
I mean, that's fair. A lot of wrestlers spend the whole time wrestling. Me too. But a little interesting fact about me: I didn't start until the sixth grade. Actually, I didn't start in the youth. I didn't start until the sixth grade. I started wrestling, and I really didn't dive deep into it until my senior year. That's when I quit every other sport, just dove deep into wrestling.
So did you start wrestling with like the middle school team, or was it with the youth club?
Yeah, right away, right off the bat was middle school wrestling. Then first club team I joined was actually Oak Creek Attack Wrestling Club. It was a little youth club over in Oak Creek. Obviously, I'm from Oak Creek. You wanna? What was the first club you joined?
I joined the West Bend Wildcats when I was probably 4 years old. My dad got me into it, and I don't know. The club was awesome. I mean, we had probably 100 kids out, and after that, I mean, that was kind of the big youth club around us. And then after that, a lot of people would go to ringers as they got older. But when I got older, like fifth, sixth grade, I started going to Askren, and I've been going there ever since. And I know that's where we met
Yeah,
before UWL. But how do you like Askren?
I like Askren. I mean, I owe it all to Askren, where I am now. But before I got into Askren, I went to Ringers. I was a Ringers kid for about 1 year after Oak Creek Attack. Went to Ringers for a year, and I really didn't find my major big passion for wrestling until joining Askren my sophomore year of high school, and I owe it all to Max. Max was the academy I spent most of my time at, but when I dove deep into it, it was my senior year, and I was going 6 times a week training. The seventh day I'd spend training other people. I gave back to the sport. I was a coach my seventh day. My rest day, quote unquote rest day, was a coach at Askren, and I spent 3 days at the Mequon Askren with Max and 3 days at the Franklin Askren with Newman. And then I also spent 3 days with my strength coach, Jim Savage, over at the Franklin Askren.
Yeah, I also went to Mequon, but I don't think we ever wrestled because you're always bigger than me. Back in your heavyweight days,
Yeah, what was the lightest weight you were at? Your freshman year of high school, where were you at?
I was 138, but I was cutting quite a bit of weight. I got up to my senior year. I was 182 though, and now I'm a big 197.
This is the first time we're actually the same weight.
Yeah. Talk about your days at heavyweight.
Days at heavyweight. Interesting story. My heavyweight days was never the biggest heavyweight. I mean, when it comes to the high school season, when I was Oak Creek, I think my max weight was like 240, which was big, but not as big as the rest of the high school heavyweights. And then when it came down to Fargo, I was only 224 and really couldn't keep the weight on, no matter how much I ate.
What was the lightest you wrestled freshman year?
The lightest I wrestled freshman year of college, I think I weighed in for nationals at about 212.
Wow. That's what you were the other day, or weren't you?
Oh yeah, had a good birthday meal the other day, and I was about 211. 2 days after our last meet, it was a big meal. Lots of food, very good food though.
So when you got down to 197, did the weight just fall off, or did you have anybody helping you, or what was that like?
I mean, for myself, I've done a lot of nutrition in the past. I actually have a nutrition minor in college, and so I knew a lot about nutrition and cutting already. We also have a nutritionist on staff here at lacrosse, Dr. Jagum, who is always there to help. Just it's pretty simple, just managing what I eat, meal prepping, the usual. Cutting out the pint of ice cream a day was the big thing that got me down to 197.
Hey, you know what they say?
What did I say?
Find today keeps the doctor away.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. So you want to tell them about what led you to choosing lacrosse?
Yeah, so after my junior year, I took third place at the state tournament, and I remember the next day, my high school coach Brent Henschel, we were leaving the hotel, and he goes, "Hey, you want me to give?" Or he said, "Trevor Pruitt is asking for your number. You want me to give it to him?" And I'm like, "Trevor Pruitt, where does he coach?" And they're like, "Lacrosse." I'm like, "Oh yeah," I was all hyped up, man. I was like, "Wow, colleges want me now." So of course, he sent it over, and I think the next day I had coach call me, and we talked for a while. I came up here on a visit a couple weeks later. Got to see the campus, the area. Man, it was awesome. I knew that day I was going to come here. I remember Coach texted me that night. He's like, he wanted me to text him when I got home, so I texted him when I got home, and he said, "I hope this is your first of," or he said, "This is going to be your first of many trips to lacrosse." I still remember that. But I really like the vision Malachek has and the culture he builds, family, and he's been here for a while, so he's got it figured out, and I feel like he has a great team every year. So,
Yeah,
what led
Kasey
you
Gish
here?
is the man to be messed with.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
what led you here, Ben?
What led me here was pretty much the same. Malachuk was the first coach to reach out to me out of any of the coaches, and it felt right. I came on my first visit. Actually, stayed with the former Oak Creek alum on my very first visit here, and it was a good time. He showed me around campus. Campus is beautiful here. I love it. And just that family atmosphere that Malachuk brings. He's got a good vision. He's got a great team every single year, and you can't deny that. One of the top in the nation every year. I want to be with the best, and we are training partners, so it's the best around here. You want to tell them a bit about your visit up on the bluffs?
Yeah, so I got here, and Tyler Gable brought me up to the Bluffs in his little stick shift car, and I got in that thing, and I didn't know if he knew how to drive it. But we made it up there. We checked out the Bluffs for about 5 minutes, and then we went back to his house, and I asked him the question. I said, "Who are your roommates?" And he said, "It's me and it's Ben Kawczynski." He said a couple other names. I'm like, "Oh, where's Ben?" And Tyler Gable goes, "Well, Ben's never here. He's always at his girlfriend's house." So yeah, then I stayed with some of the freshmen in the dorm, and after that, I really knew I was coming here. I really enjoyed it.
For sure, for sure. What stuck out about here versus any other programs,
Um,
or was lacrosse the only place you went on visits to?
I went on a visit to a couple colleges, but it kind of was like, kind of got that city feel, but it's not too big of a city. And I don't know. I mean, I like it's far from home, but it's not like super far. It's also not super close. It's like the perfect distance where you got to make the trip. You can make the trip, but it's not too fun of a trip, so you don't really want to make the trip. Yeah. So, question for you: um,
So,
we're talking about choosing lacrosse. So, after you won your Fargo title, I don't think a lot of people know, but I know you got reached out to by a lot of coaches. What made you stick with lacrosse and not change to Division 1 or full ride or any sort of scholarship? Stick here at lacrosse in the Division 3 wrestling.
that's a funny story, actually. I had quite a few coaches reach out to me after I won the Fargo title, but I don't really have a definite answer to that question. It's just it felt right. I had a gut feeling. I went with my gut, and the rest is history.
Did you did you ever think about going to a college or any specific D1 college after they talked to you?
Um, there was one that I thought I would go to, and that was Northern Iowa.
Oh yeah,
Parker Keck guy's in there, and he was one of the best training partners back at Askren. And
I'm sure Max is pushing you for that one.
oh yeah, Max loves Northern Iowa, and he wanted me to go there and wrestle with Parker, but I had to stick with my gut and believe that I was led in the right direction, and ultimately, I think I was. I love it here.
So you got to be the first lacrosse kid to come here that's a Fargo champion.
That I don't have an answer for. I don't know. There's We'd have to look back in the record books and see if anybody else has done it. But hopefully, we have a few more coming in.
Oh yeah. So you got a who do you think could be the most influential coach in your wrestling career so far?
Most influential coach. That's tough. 'Cause I had quite a few. Got to narrow it down to a couple. I mean, Newman's really got my shape. Newman and Savage got my shape up to where it is, and Max and Dave Malachek have led me to the technical side that I am right now. I owe it all to my coaches. Ultimately, that's why we're doing this podcast, the Coaches Corner, because we love our coaches. We've all had great coaches in our life, and we want to explore the atmosphere of a coach's side because everybody interviews athletes. We want to be different. We want to interview those coaches, right? You want to talk about why you want to interview the coaches?
Yeah, you know, our buddies over at Clash of Combat, Caden and Crosby, they're big into interviewing the athletes, big athletes. And we thought it'd be cool. We're gonna start a podcast, so we thought it'd be cool to get the coaches' side and see their how they became a coach. Maybe talk about their wrestling career, their coaching career. What kind of style they like to teach. And, I don't know, just hear some cool stories from these coaches about that. You're not gonna hear every day.
For sure. You think every coach was an athlete at one point?
I think I think probably good 99% of them were. I mean, I remember a couple. I'm sure at the high school level and up, there definitely are. I know in the youth level, you get a couple of those dads that want to come and coach your kids,
For sure.
but so they watch a couple of YouTube videos. But it's good. It's good for the sport.
I think a majority, especially high level,
Yeah.
are definitely athletes at one point. But
I mean, I
you,
think. What do you think? You think most college coaches are some sort of All American?
100%. And that's my cat, Sushi.
Sushi. Ben, you like sushi?
Love sushi.
Remember walking in the festival one day and you were walking out with like 3 things of sushi on sushi day.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Interesting fact about myself: I have a dog and two cats. Goldie's the dog, and two cats, Sushi and Meatball. Interesting names, but we love them.
We are filming this in Ben's living room right now, but you know, it's a start. It's a start. We got to start somewhere.
Somewhere. You've heard us mention Dave Malachek and how influential he's been in our life. That leads us into. You want to tell him why we're talking about Dave Malachek so much?
Yeah. So Dave, Coach Malachek, he is the head wrestling coach here at Lacrosse, and he is going to be our very first guest, the Coach's Corner. Who knows when that podcast will be out, but we're going to be filming it pretty soon.
Oh yeah, it'll be fun to have him. If you guys have any questions you want to ask him, even throw some questions out about who should be his next guest on Mondays with Malachek. He'll love to hear all the questions. We'll be sure to ask him. Let us know what we should talk to him about.
So, what else could we talk about?
Yeah, I mean, that's all I got.
All right. Well, I guess that concludes the first episode.